commend Bill Gates' annual newsletter to you, which you all have. There's one sentence which I think, as Conservative Friends of International Development, will make us particularly proud, and which I quote: "Despite the threat to aid budgets, one thing that makes me optimistic about the future is the courage of leaders who are finding ways to make the welfare of poor people a priority." Under David Cameron's leadership, the UK sets a great example by keeping its promise to grow aid spending, despite the cuts it has to make. It's inspiring to see a leader stand up for what he believes is right, even when it isn't easy. And that's what we, as Conservative Friends of International Development, are here to support. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to introduce Bill Gates.
Well, good afternoon. I was looking forward to a chance to meet with people who think like we do, and I'm looking forward to the dialogue. A few remarks. These are challenging times in all the rich countries. I get a chance to fly down to the G20 meeting tomorrow, and they've kindly allocated 75 minutes to talk about development issues. And I'm hopeful they won't be too distracted by the important short-term issues that they're facing. And particularly, I hope that in solving those short-term issues, they don't move in a way that would reduce the investments in development that make such a difference. And our foundation is particularly focused on issues around health and agriculture. And the more I've gotten into it, the more I believe that there are innovations, whether it's inventing new vaccines or coming up with better seeds, that can really lift all of these poor countries up and improve the human condition, and also put them in a position where they'll be entirely self-sufficient. A good example of vaccines at work is the polio eradication campaign. And that's the foundation project I spend the most time on, because we're quite optimistic in the next 2 or 3 years, polio will become the second disease ever eradicated from the face of the earth. Under the Prime Minister's leadership, in fact, that has absolutely come true, both in the sense of the level of generosity and the quality of the giving. There was an aid review done, so-called multilateral aid review, where the department was willing to call out some investments that were particularly impactful and call out some where they couldn't see the value that was being delivered. And it was rather unprecedented that they actually then made the decision to cut off a number of those organizations where there just wasn't the value for money, and then increase what was being spent on the ones that were strong performers. Why should we care about aid? Well, there's a lot of reasons, any one of which I think is sufficient. There's the pure humanitarian issue that all lives have equal value. And so when children die, when children don't have good nutrition, it's a terrible thing. There are economic reasons. We want all these countries to provide to be able to grow food and provide resources so that we don't have shortages and high prices worldwide. And that is one of the things holding back the world economy. We want them to be participants in the world economy. And finally, in terms of epidemics or just national security, if you allow these countries to be extremely poor, to have extremely high population growth rates, which is what you get if you don't work on the health issues, then they're going to be exporting instability. And so for every country, depending on where they are in that well chart, you're trying to push them up, so they're more and more self-sufficient. That's why the story of, Korea is the extreme case where they got lots of aid. Now they're a substantial aid donor. Countries like China, Brazil, Philippines, Mexico, those were aid recipients. And now, across the board, people have decided not only shouldn't they be aid recipients, but they're starting to turn around and contribute. In fact, there's so many ways that you can contribute to these activities. Of course, the ideal is if you can actually go to the poor countries and get involved, because then you get such a knowledge of what needs to be done. For the polio campaign, we've had a lot of people go out to these countries and volunteer their services and make sure things are very well done. But even if you can't go into the countries that are affected, there's so many amazing non-governmental organizations, many of which are based here in the UK, helping out people like Save the Children. It's an amazing group. We have up on our website a lot of the people we work with and give money to, and simply getting the word out about aid. There are things like the Global Poverty Project and many others, Oxfam, where it's their voice that does the best job of telling the success stories. Even when the UK government is funding this incredible project, they're not really given money to tell their story. If they took out an advert or something, they'd be questioned for that as an expense. So it's an unusual thing. It's really the NGOs a little bit who are out there, telling the story, of what's being done, and they're very high quality organizations. So I think getting involved in one of those, picking one of those is the thing that you want to give to is probably the best way to have an impact. Having you all here, learning about this, supporting this, I can't tell you how important that is, because aid is being looked at.
And I'm delighted that finally there is an organisation that reflects the great interest that there is within the Conservative Party about international development.
And I thought it was a fantastic event, a really great chance for everyone that's in the Conservative Party and passionate about development to really share ideas and see how they can progress.
And will you be coming along to another CFID event?
Absolutely, definitely. It was a fantastic first event. Everyone was engaged, had a very good question and answer